Hey guys, welcome back to Done with Depression. Today we're talking about telling my mom my mental health story. So, a little background on me. I am 29 years old, and all the trauma that I had in my past, I never really told anyone. The first time I ever told anyone anything that was on my mind or any of the reasons why I had been depressed or any of that was a girlfriend that I had at 29 as well. And yeah, so I eventually at 29 told my mom. It was after I got out of the first inpatient program that I was in, and I came home and listened to music that really brought me back to some of the trauma that I had been in, and just wrote out everything that I could remember. Any negative thought that came to my head, any bad memory I had of the past, anything that made me sad, irritated, angry, literally anything I could think of that was negative, I wrote down in this book. And it was very difficult. I'm not going to lie. I cried, I was angry, I had to pause and take moments. I had to think about why I was feeling this sort of way. It was very difficult. But for me, the music that I was listening to brought me back in time to those memories. So, whatever works for you, whatever you do that takes you back to those memories, if you can handle it, I suggest that you get it out of your head and on to some other platform. For me, I tend to just really sit in all of my thoughts. And I had 29 years worth of stuff that was in my head that I had never talked about. So it was all just festering in there and piling up and just creating all this toxic stuff inside of me. So for me, listening to music helped me revert back to that time in my life, because music used to be sometimes how I coped with things that happen. I would go on a walk and just listen to music. Sometimes it was the same song over and over and over again until I couldn't walk anymore, and then I would go home. Sometimes I'd walk miles and miles one direction and then just turn around and walk back. So music for me was the platform, and it was really the kind of catalyst that could transform me back to that time. So I wrote everything out on this paper, in this journal. It was probably like 6 pages, I want to say. And then after I wrote everything out, I tried to organize some of it. So I organized it into people. And then once I organized it into people, I tried to organize it at what time each thing happened in my life. So earlier events I would put first, within the people group, and then later events I would put later. So for me, this was the first time that I really went through everything in my head, wrote it down on paper, and then tried to organize it in some fashion. Like I said before, all of these thoughts previously had just been festering in my head, and they'd just be triggered by certain other things that happened. Hearing a song randomly would take me back to this moment, or seeing a certain type of car, or driving past a house or a certain park, or hearing someone's voice would take me back to whatever memory I had. And it was really hard to organize that when it's in your head and just going in loops, essentially. I would have really intrusive thoughts and intrusive memories of things. So there would be like a loop, per se, of like this video just going on in my head over and over and over and over again. And I couldn't think of anything else besides whatever that memory was. So I wrote everything out, I organized it, and I had it for about a week. So my mom knew that I was depressed. She didn't know what really caused it. She had some idea of the traumas that I had gone through, obviously, but she didn't know a lot of the things that I had written down, especially that included my dad. Since my parents are divorced, she didn't know a lot of how he affected me or things that he did that really upset me. So one night, I finally got the courage and I just told my mom everything that was in my journal. I got the courage by it essentially felt good at first to write everything out, but then because I still hadn't said it, it still felt like it was building up inside me. So it was just piling up still, and I could just feel that toxic in me, and I just needed to like throw up that toxic. I just needed to say it. I just needed to tell someone else so that they could almost feel the pain instead of me feeling the pain, or at least they would be able to relate to me and know the pain that I was going through. So I sat my mom down one night and just said, I wrote all this stuff out, blah, blah, blah. I want to just read it to you. I don't want your opinion. I don't want anything except for you to just listen and understand. My mom's usually a fixer, so whenever you have a problem, she tries to fix it for you. It's probably natural because she's trying to protect her kids and problem solve and make our lives easier. But I had to tell her that I just wanted her to listen. Don't be a fixer. Just listen. Acknowledge that I have these feelings, and then we can talk about it later. So I went line by line. There's stuff in there that she had to deal with, things that she had done that affected me. There was other stuff she didn't know about, but I was just honest with every single thing that was in there and every single thing that I told her. And this really helped me a lot. It was, again, the first time I had told someone everything, and it really helped to say it. For some reason, writing it helped a little bit, but to say it and tell someone else almost made it feel like, to me, that I didn't have to hold on to it anymore because someone else knew. A lot of times we keep these memories because we just have to hold on to them, and until you say it out loud or you tell someone, it just stays inside of you. So for me, saying it to someone that I trusted and just being able to, I guess, acknowledge it and accept it, if you will, because telling someone else it made it real for me, was really helpful. So I told my mom, and she's just been a huge advocate for me ever since. We've gotten a lot closer since then. We have more trust now, and I feel like I can be more open and honest with her if she's doing something that's irritating me, or I don't want her to be a fixer. I feel a lot more able to say, this is what I need, and really tell her what I need and what I don't need. So that's kind of my story on that. I would suggest that if you guys have not told anyone your story, at least tell someone. If you have anyone that supports you in any way that you feel comfortable with, it was really helpful for me. If you're not at that point right now, I totally understand. It took me a long, long time to get there. But that's it for this episode. I have a link in the description on how you can get 6 months free Amazon Prime. So if you guys want to check it out down there, it's in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon.